Hello, world. It's your boy DJ, and today we're going to talk about what happens when you ignore routines. See, typically everybody feels like routines are really only metrics for productivity. But let's flip that paradigm a little bit. What if you actually started to think about it? Routine is a way to make sure that your energy, attention, and time are utilized in ways that best suit you. Because typical routines are really just about doing set things at set times on the calendar and making them non negotiable. But for atypical or neurodivergent minds, we need to instill and utilize what I call purposeful routines and rhythms because our carrot on a stick don't work. Delayed gratification is a struggle at best. But many times we end up just going rogue, right? You have this routine, you have it set up, you're gonna wake up at a certain time, you're gonna knock this out, you're gonna do this, and everything's gonna be done. What happens? You don't feel like waking up, you don't wanna get out of bed. So now you start the day, you're already behind. Okay. Now you're always behind the eight ball. Eventually, you don't get to your work. And when you do finally get to your work, now you feel like you got to make up, right? There's this sense of compensation because you felt that the routine was to maximize productivity. But ignoring routines isn't about a productivity hack or feeling guilty about yourself. Ignoring routines is denying yourself the opportunity to make sure you fill your cup at every opportunity you can. I had this thing where I wanted to get up early because one of the things that I enjoy the most is that pre morning, right, pre sunrise silence where nobody's woken up yet, ain't no request, ain't no pulling of my attention from anything other than what I desire to do. But I felt like it was wrong of me to go to sleep early and leave all the people in my house who decided they prefer to be up at night. So I'm staying up and then I feel like I'm forcing myself to get up in the mornings. And then there's the mornings where like, man, I don't feel like why I gotta get up at the butt crack of dawn to do the things that I desire to do. But guess what? The days where I didn't pour into my cup are the days which were the roughest to me. I was short tempered. I felt like I was always reacting and nothing was proactive. Nothing was set up. Everything was just at the seat of my pants and there was just zero control. So I looked up at the end of the day and it was time to go to bed again. But nothing I wanted to do got done. So it was just exhausting. So then what am I even doing? Then I get in this rut. And what happens when you get in the rut? Why doesn't why do I want to do anything? What am I doing for myself? What is this doing for anybody? And so then I'm beating myself up. I feel guilty. Life looks bleak. Everything is this dark shade of gray. And what kind of life is that? So we got to remember our routines aren't designed so we can put on Instagram that we have 15 hours of just solid work time where we can brag about all the things that we did and all the places that we went because we are hardcore discipline fanatics. Routine, especially from a pleasure-led model, is to make sure you are always centering your days around joys, indulging your senses, and getting an opportunity to pour into you from start to finish. Because a lot of times in this hustle culture, it's all about putting you last. It's all about sacrificing yourself for a profit or an advantage or just to showcase who has more misery in the pursuit of maybe one day having a payoff. Ask me, that shit sounds dumb. So we gonna peel this back because I don't want people to take routines where if you're a morning person, you're trying to stay up late because all the internet gurus tell you you should be waking up early and sleeping late because you're just going to run the tires off the ground. But if you are a morning person, go and get yourself up and get yourself up with enough time. Or if you a night person, get everybody asleep so you can have enough time to set everything up so you could have that space. Because can you really imagine a life where you never get time to yourself and your creative flow to actually honor that? To me, that feels like such a waste of the gifts that we've been given with our unique minds. We are wired to see the world differently. But if we don't have a routine in place, there's never that opportunity to allow that moment to shine. You are just always gonna be behind the eight ball, always waiting for the opportunity, always either wishing for more energy, more attention, or more time. That's what's at stake here. If you're trying to eat and fuel your life, your pleasure, your desires, then ignoring your routines is a non-negotiable. And one of them ways you can start is you can go ahead and download the 7-day micro pleasure habit tracker. Because I'm not one into how much work you got done, how much can you brag about all the movement and yada, yada, yada. No. I want you to really lock in on giving yourself hydration, movement, activities you enjoy. Because here at Pleasure Led Life, we are all about being selfishly selfless. Because the overflow is where it's at. And if we're not pouring into our cup, you're going to get depleted. You can't even give from that overflow. So this is what we're doing here. We're turning it on our head. We're going to develop just a simple 3-step routine where you decide when your optimal wake up time is. You decide when your optimal work time is, and you decide when your optimal sleep and eating time is. You know, that's why we here talk about rhythms, because there'll be part of your life where in the nights, that's where you get it. And there'll be part of your life where in the mornings, man, everything makes a breeze. For me, I really enjoy having everything knocked out before noon. Because that means the day is mine. I could either choose at some point when I walk away from it to come back to it and be ahead, or I can just relax, kick back, because everything that I had on my quote unquote to-do list, that's all knocked out. But that is only on the days where the routine is not ignored. On the days that I let it slide because I don't think it's that big of a deal, it don't run smooth at all. And I'm sure you've had them days where you kind of knew it wasn't a good idea to let it all slide, but why not? And what happened? As soon as one day turned into a week, that week turned into a month, and for some of us, man, you in this cycle for years. So when you decide to build your moments around something that really feels good to you, that motivates you to move forward, man, a pleasure led life, it starts with very simple but flexible routines. So, as always, it's been a pleasure, and I'll see you later.